Quick disclaimer, this video was made prior to England's semi-final loss against Croatia. I didn't manage to get the video out in time before that game, and I figured it'd just be better off on my YouTube channel opposed to just getting deleted, because I put a lot of time and effort into this video. Obviously just needed to point that out before the video started. In recent years, the England national team, quite truthfully, has become the punching bag of international football. After time and time again, the golden generation of the 2000s continued to disappoint, and after the new look Three Lions suffered an insulting defeat to Iceland in the first knockout round of Euro 2016, anyone coming into a major tournament who even suggested the possibility of England winning it would be mocked and not taken seriously. And I think that's how the whole coming home movement started. At first, with some of the bigger teams struggling, the catchy phrase was thrown around by English fans. However, as the tournament progressed with England landing a favourable route to the final, the prospect of the World Cup coming home gradually gained more and more momentum, to the point that now an entire nation believes in what just under a month ago they'd have been laughed at for proposing. For the most part, England have installed their hopes in Spurs talisman Harry Kane, who over the years has become not only the most prolific goalscorer in the Premier League, but in world football as well. However, while everyone is of the mindset that England will go as far as he takes them, on the opposite side of the pitch there's a figure who's been equally as important in England's semi-final run. Introducing Jordan Pickford, someone who's made a household name of himself back home during Russia 2018, and is just 2 wins away from becoming a lot more than just that. Jordan Pickford, until the past few years, until fairly recently, was just another name on a long list of England goalkeepers. It appeared Joe Hart would be England's #1 for several more years going forward, and the only real spot up for grabs was being his backup, which Pickford probably never even saw himself in contention of being. Sure, he'd represented his country under Gareth Southgate a series of times at youth level, but at that point a young Jordan was still out there proving his worth in the lower divisions of English football. While under contract at his home team Sunderland, in a 4-year span between 2012 and 2016, he was loaned out to 6 different teams, gradually working his way through the ranks, spending 2 years in non-league football, another 2 with Burton, Albion and Carlise United in the country's 4th division, a season in each of League One and the Championship where he continued to impress, and ultimately earned a move back to Sunderland in the Premier League winter 2016. He was brought in as the number 2 to Vito Mannone, who happened to suffer a serious arm injury less than 3 games into the 2016-17 season. Pickford would step into the starting role, and would play 29 league games on the season, meaning by the age of 21 he'd played in the top 5 leagues of English football. Although Sunderland would finish bottom place and see out relegation after years of close calls, Pickford was the Black Cats' standout performer, with a save ratio of 73%. Instead of falling with his beloved sinking ship, Pickford took his talents to the blue team in Merseyside that summer, moving to Everton on a 5-year deal for up to £30 million, the most expensive British goalkeeper transfer in history. The 2017-18 season would be a miserable one for the Toffees, replacing gaffer Ronald Koeman with Sam Allardyce mid-season, etc. Pickford's performances were about the only positive for Everton all season. He was head and shoulders above every player, and was rewarded as such come the end of the season, where his individual success would be validated by winning Everton's Young Player, Players Player and Overall Player of the Season awards. Most importantly, he would catch the eye of England manager Gareth Southgate, who frequently attended games at Goodison Park last year. With no clear-cut choice, Pickford wound up besting the likes of Jack Butland, Nick Pope, Joe Hart and Fraser Forster to be England's #1 choice keeper at the 2018 World Cup. An opportunity of a lifetime. And hasn't he half made the most of it? Although he'd received criticism for his performance against Belgium, Jordan was unfazed and didn't let it affect him going forward. England cruised through the group stages, and the first real test would come in the round 16 against the James Rodriguez-less Colombia, in which Pickford would become the hero in the end. Unlucky to concede from a Yerry Mina header in stoppage time, from the corner following one of the best saves of the tournament so far just moments before. Both teams would see out extra time and the game would be decided on penalties. In a nail-biting back and forth affair, Pickford's strong left hand would deny Carlos Bacca from the spot, which would see England advance to the quarter-final and claim their first ever World Cup penalty shootout victory. He'd carry the momentum into the next game against Sweden with his best performance to date in an England jersey, standing firm and rejecting a series of attempts that would allow the opposition back into the game. He'd leave the stadium as not only man of the match, but also keeping his first clean sheet of the tournament, and most importantly ensuring England a place in the World Cup semi-final, just one win away from their first final since 1966. Pickford cuts an animated, hyped up figure watched at close quarters in training, a blizzard of body movements and facial expressions. By goalkeeping standards, he is a bundle of perpetual motion. There is no question he had to prove his credentials as England's number one, not simply with his saves, but by fulfilling a vital role in Southgate's plans via his work with the ball at his feet. Pickford's deeds in the past week have made him a prime contender for World Cup team of the tournament, and he's possibly even in for a shout at the Golden Glove as well. And on top of everything, has proven already to be the man in goal who could serve his country for the next decade or so.